everyone, and welcome to this Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into what I think is absolutely one of the most fascinating mysteries in the modern business world. Right now, there are literally hundreds of smartphone and computer brands out there. I mean, it's an intensely competitive, cutthroat space, right? And yet, one single brand just consistently dominates, not only in market share but in the entire global cultural conversation. We're going to deconstruct Apple. We're looking closely at the psychology behind this trillion-dollar brand. Because honestly, to really understand Apple, we got to look way past the circuit boards and the screens and dive deep into how they've totally mastered technology, business strategy, and human psychology.
So that brings us right to a massive question. It's something I like to call the spec sheet paradox. Why on earth do millions of people choose Apple over cheaper and honestly sometimes measurably faster alternatives? Think about it. If you were a purely logical consumer making a totally rational choice, you'd just look at the raw specs and the price tags, right? But hey, human behavior isn't always purely rational, is it? So is the iPhone really that much better, or has Apple mastered something way more powerful than just the underlying technology?
Let's look at the facts. Many of Apple's competitors regularly drop devices with crazy fast processors, massive batteries, and a whole bunch of camera lenses, and they do it at significantly lower prices. On paper, they win the spec war, hands down. Yet, Apple somehow maintains these premium prices and they still enjoy absolutely unparalleled market dominance and a fiercely loyal customer base. It's honestly a total logical fallacy in consumer behavior. So, what exactly is tipping the scales here?
Section 1. Hardware meets software, the illusion of simplicity.
Okay, let's dive into this. Apple's foundational focus really boils down to design and making incredibly complex products feel effortlessly easy to use. And this all comes down to hardware-software integration. See, while a lot of tech companies are modular, meaning, they build the physical phone but use an operating system designed by someone else, Apple does it all in-house. This gives them total, absolute control over your end-user experience. There's no clunky translation between the hardware and the software. Instead, it creates this beautiful illusion of utter simplicity that carefully hides all that immense technical complexity right behind the screen.
Section 2. The ecosystem effect, the sticky trap.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how a single Apple device isn't just a standalone phone or laptop. No, it's actually an entry point into a visually overwhelming, highly interconnected digital environment. It's like a giant web. You start with an iPhone. Then, maybe you grab a Mac, an iPad, an Apple Watch, some AirPods, and then you're subscribing to Apple services. And they all communicate flawlessly. You literally copy text on your iPhone and paste it right on your Mac. Your AirPods magically switch audio from your iPad to your phone the second a call comes in. This level of interconnectedness breeds deep, deep familiarity. It basically encourages customers to stay put, because leaving means giving up all that seamless convenience. It literally traps customers in the ecosystem. But, it's a trap made of pure convenience.
Section 3. The psychology of premium, the brand aura.
So, how exactly do you convince someone to happily pay a premium price when much cheaper alternatives exist right next to it? Well, you have to sell a feeling. Apple is a master at crafting a consistent brand identity across every single physical touchpoint. It starts with those famous product launches, right? They turn simple product updates into heavily watched global events. Then you step into their retail stores. These minimalist, carefully designed environments that honestly feel more like modern art galleries than a typical electronics shop. And finally, the packaging and advertising. It's clean, it's crisp, and it's instantly recognizable. They really aren't just selling you glass and metal. They are selling a lifestyle and a very real sense of premium exclusivity.
And right alongside that premium aura, Apple strategically weaves in other intangibles, like trust. By actively marketing privacy as a feature, Apple leverages user security as a core piece of its brand messaging. Now, objectively speaking here, plenty of companies invest heavily in security. But Apple, they've made it a loud, central pillar of their advertising to build deep consumer trust. And think about it. When people trust a brand with their most personal, intimate data, that feeling of safety massively encourages repeat purchases, which, of course, locks them even further into that sticky ecosystem we just talked about.
Section 4. Apple versus the competition. Different strengths.
Now, this brilliantly illustrates how vital it is that we look at the broader market objectively, because giants like Samsung, Google, and other manufacturers have absolutely incredible, undeniable strengths too. Apple is not objectively better in every single category, they just compete on entirely different terms. While Apple excels at that integrated ecosystem, that simplicity, and the highly curated retail experience, the Android side thrives on deep customization and a truly open ecosystem. Android manufacturers offer a much wider price range, and quite frankly, they frequently push the boundaries first on specific tech, like folding screens, massive battery capacities, and crazy camera lenses. Apple doesn't even try to win on every single front. Instead, they focus relentlessly on their specific strengths to breed unshakable, consistent brand loyalty.
Section 5. The Ultimate Product. Synthesis of a trillion-dollar strategy.
So the crucial point is this. We've looked at the hardware, the software, the ecosystem, the retail psychology, and the competition. But Apple's absolute biggest advantage isn't a single feature like a camera lens or a processor chip. It's this idea right here. Apple's greatest product may not be the iPhone, the Mac, or the Apple Watch. It may be the experience that connects them all, and the feeling that once you enter the ecosystem, you don't just own the products, you become part of the brand. It's this almost magical combination of design, ecosystem, branding, and customer experience, all forged into one highly connected identity. Which leaves us with a final thought to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Look at the devices around you right now. When you hand over your hard-earned money, are you buying a product or are you buying an identity? How much of your tech choices are driven by raw data and how much by the ecosystem and brand aura you've been seamlessly integrated into? It's a genuinely fascinating question about our relationship with technology and one definitely worth keeping in mind the next time you walk into a store. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next one.